Scientists and engineers are at the top of the IQ scale, but they're at the bottom of the social hierarchy. You have to ask yourself whether that's good enough for you and whether the geeky, interesting shit you do on a daily basis is so great that it can entirely fill your life. If so, you don't have to watch the rest of this. You know, money is by some considered to be a unit of time, but really is a unit of pain or inconvenience, a negative unit of desire. You trade money for something when the other person doesn't want to do that something, right? And for humans, risk is the ultimate pain. That is probably why, largely, a person gets rewarded for his or her work according to how much risk he or she takes, not according to how much effort is involved. People who clean the streets have high effort, low risk, get paid nearly nothing. Entrepreneurs and investors make more money than anyone else because they take on the most risk. Now, the problem with people who have been trained in a technical discipline, such as engineers and scientists, is that they have trained and sculpted their brain to operate under conditions of omnipotence and omniscience, that is, zero risk. Every step must be planned in advance. They know that if one step is iffy, everything will go to shit, the system will collapse. So they see business as this ultimate risk because it's impossible to model, let alone control the infinity of different moving parts in the world at large. The other problem that people have sculpted their brain to work in these technical disciplines have is that they require immediate feedback, and they're used to getting it. When you go out in the real world, it sometimes takes months to get a feedback for any particular given action. So this seems to them like it's a hopeless, like it's a huge risk. They're just not used to it. They're like somebody trying to go on a bicycle in space where there's no friction. And so the wheels are spinning, but you're getting nowhere. It's that kind of incompatibility between the way that their brain wants to work and the way that it can work. The way the world really works is that there isn't one opportunity. There are infinite opportunities, and all you're trying to do is find one key that opens one door. It's not one door that you have to find a key to. There are 1,000 or 100,000 doors, and you have to continue to make gradual, progressive improvements on one key until one door opens. And you made it. When that one door opens, it gives you, for example, 3 more keys, because once you gain something, you conquer a little bit of this great big capillary system that distributes goods to the people of the world and funnels money back to the people who create them. Once you get a piece of the system, then you get more opportunities. All of a sudden you can try more keys. Now instead of having 1, you get 4. And this is why some people have everything and some have nothing. So unfortunately, psychology is not something that I can tell you how it is and then you can say, oh, okay, let me just snap out of that. No. The mind is hardware. And if you've taken a long time to build it in a particular way, to change its structure, change its shape, is going to take time as well. So to undo that is hard work. Now, the engineer's trap is that engineers and scientists are well-paid slaves. I think I saw some numbers where 80% of entrepreneurs have never had a job before. Because think about it. The moment you get a job and you get a taste of that security, of that money coming in every month, you know, money that comes in every month is money you can throw away. If I know I've got 5K a month, automatically I know I can get a house for 2.5K, no problem. I can have a nice house. And I know I can have another, 2.5K of what? Of just shitting money away. But if you're making 5K with a business, you have no guarantee what's coming the next month. It's a really fundamentally different situation where you're always a little bit afraid of spending money because it might not come in the next month. So once you get a taste of that sweet nectar of being provided for, most likely you will not grow into somebody who likes to take risk. And that's, I think, the reason why entrepreneurs normally, if you look at them, they've never had a job before. At least though, engineers don't have to beg. In fact, for the most part, if you're a good engineer, people beg you to join their shitty companies, their shitty startups, make a new photo sharing app. Scientists, on the other hand, they have a little bit better because at least they're doing something that's actually interesting and that no one has ever done before. But on the other side, because they're still higher in the IQ scale, so it makes sense that they would be even lower on the social hierarchy scale, they actually have to beg to do the very important job that they're doing, and that begging takes the form of grants, grant proposals, grant applications. So for engineers, you have on one hand the scary, risky shit, and on the other hand, an easy 5-10 grand a month, some people even more. You just sit down somewhere being a senior code monkey and playing with computers. Now for scientists, the stuff that they do is like crack cocaine because it's interesting. And so they have, on one hand, the risky shit, the scary shit, and on the other side, the ability to just do their interesting stuff all day long. Not only that, but the risky and scary shit is also, most of the times, very, very boring. So it's not like even if you're a scientist that wants to develop their invention and sell it, you will spend maybe 10% of the time creating the product and then 90% figuring out sales channels, partnerships, all kinds of things that for somebody who's used to dealing with super interesting, bleeding edge science, is just like getting kicked in the ass every minute. So this is the trap. This is the local minimum in which these two categories are trapped. How do you get out of the trap? Step one, you need to understand where your blind spots are. That's what you're doing right now. Then you need to get some sensory grounding. That means being able to see this shit work. Find somebody who's doing it or read about somebody who's done it so that you teach your emotions that this shit is not impossible. It actually happens. Then you practice gradually working with uncertainty and managing risk. You build confidence that risk is like a wild animal. You know, there are people who, I forgot if it was in Australia or something, but sometimes you get alligators that just get into your swimming pool. And then you got a problem. Who do you call? There are some people that you call them and they get the alligator out of your fucking swimming pool. They know how to wrestle the alligator. They know if they grab him by the nose like this, it's not going to bite or some shit like that. I'm not really clear on that. It's not my job or anything. But there are some people who know that risk is a scary beast, but you can tame it. You can tackle it, okay? In scientific terms, risk is a tractable problem. Then you change your lifestyle, reduce your money consumption to the absolute maximum so you can put money aside and buy some sort of insulation, some buffer, a layer of safety to stop what you're doing now for a living and dedicate yourself to your business, your freedom. Step 5, you use your technical superiority, your expertise to create a product that nobody else has or a product that everybody has but sucks. You try to do this during working hours if you can get away with it. Most engineers can, I think. But if you can't, as I said before, put money aside, reduce your consumption, and do it in your own time. Finally, you add the risk tolerance needed to sell it by yourself. And that's a risk, but you need the balls. You develop the balls. Gradually, you can do it. Many people have done it. There's people out there who got rich selling fucking toilet paper. And you know, if you got a new super cool technology to sell, you're in a far better position. But on the other side, as I'm outlining here, you're in a slightly worse position because at the same time, you're in this trap. You are in the trap. You're getting paid. You've got the safety. You need to let that go. Take one step back to go 3 steps forward. And finally, you can enjoy your freedom if everything goes well. But there's an additional trap. Don't innovate too much. I had to learn this on my skin, and many others have. This is a huge engineer/scientist trap to say, okay, I'm gonna make this new thing that's just so fucking new that it's just like 20 steps ahead from what everybody else has ever done. That's risky. So do you like risk or do you not like risk? If you're ready to jump, if you're ready to do base jumping, then fine, go for it. But if you're thinking, fuck, it looks scary, I'm getting vertigo, I'm about to throw up, then don't do that. You know, do something that's one step ahead. Sacrifice a little bit your desire to keep on this crack cocaine of interestingness or of geeky interesting shit that you're doing. Tone that down for a second and just worry about the fact that you need to be free as soon as possible. To be free as soon as possible, you need revenue as soon as possible. To get revenue as soon as possible, you need to do something innovative. Other people are going to look at it and say, well, that's novel, that's new, that's interesting, I like it, I want it. But it can't be something where now for the next 10 years, you're just in R&D, because that way you might run out of money, you haven't saved enough, and now you need to go back to your boss and say, sorry, you know how I told you to fuck off 2 years ago? Actually, hi. You don't want to do that. And also, psychologically, it's just much harder on yourself because you're not seeing progress. It's far easier on your nerves. Innovate 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, stop there, start selling, make money, and then now that you've got the freedom, then you create a 20-year plan, a 50-year plan, okay? Because otherwise, if you get into R&D mode, you quit your job, but you're still in this closed system type of mentality. You're still an engineer, you're still a scientist. So you're just delaying even more the knowledge that you should really, by this point, be starting to accrue by experience. If this video has been useful to you, if it sucked, if it bored you to death, if it's put you to sleep, but you were trying to sleep and that's why you were watching it, so it's been useful to you, tattoo it on your fucking vagina, share it, subscribe it, stick it up your ass, do whatever the fuck you need to do, but the most important thing is you go in peace.